Sometimes when working with a vendor in the DNN ecosystem, you might need to gather information to help them troubleshoot or estimate a project for you. In this video, we're going to show you some of the important information that the vendor might need. Do take great care though in how and who you forward this information to. You only want to expose this information to known and reputable people in the ecosystem. If you're unsure, then don't do it. We're going to show you in both version 8 and version 9 of DNN. You'll need to be logged in as a super user. When you're in the version 8 and lower series, you have a control panel, and in the control panel, if you're logged in as the appropriate user, you can go to the host menu. And inside of the common settings, you'll find the dashboard. There's other places to look for information, but this has everything all in one. When the dashboard loads, the first tab is the web server. This information is not always necessary, but we will want to know what version of the database are you running. In addition, how much disk space is the server taking up? The reason is we might have to install or restore to a different version of the database, and depending on the size of the database, it may take longer to support you. Finally, in the Host tab, you'll find the edition of DNN, whether or not it's DNN Platform or one of the Evoke editions, and the version number. That's critical for us to be able to support you. You can also download all this and send it all at once using the Export as XML file feature, but only do that if all that information is absolutely necessary. The things I just pointed out, the version numbers, the editions, and the size, are the only things that really matter in most engagements. However, in the case of trying to estimate the effort behind an upgrade, those additional pieces of information I mentioned could and usually are absolutely necessary. Let's look at DNN 9. With DNN 9, we'll have to use the persona bar instead, and if we hover over the settings menu, we can go to servers. The servers view is very similar, except that it doesn't have the information behind extensions and websites and so on. But in the very first tab called System Info, under Application, we can see the edition of DNN as well as the version number. The Web tab isn't generally useful, but can be when there are issues to be troubleshot. Under Database, we can see the version of the database, which again is important, as well as the size of the database. The only thing that we are not able to tell here is the size of the file system, meaning the entire website directory, if it needed to be backed up and then sent to a vendor and then restored, how large is all those files? While you can't look at the size of the entire website directory in DNN, you can use Windows if you have access to it. If you can directly log into the server, right-click on the website folder, choose Properties, and then you can see how large that folder is. While it's the most accurate representation of the size of the file system, there is a slight workaround if you don't have access. Inside of DNN 9, you can go to Site Assets, and in DNN 8, it's slightly different. We go to Admin, and underneath Admin, either in the Common or the Advanced Settings, depending on your version, you'll find File Management. From here, the steps are the same. Right-click on Root, choose View Folder Properties. And now we can see the size of that folder. Usually that's the largest folder on a DNN installation, so it's the most important one. If you have multiple websites on a single instance of DNN, it could be helpful in most cases to do this for each website that you're on. So you would navigate to each individual website on the instance and then look for the size. Of course, that is time consuming. If that's the case, it may be better to talk to your technical staff to have them get the file size for you. We hope this was helpful.